What's good, everybody? It's your boy Kingdom, and I'm back with another video. So today I'm gonna be doing what if Midoriya learned Sage Mode. I really wanted to do this for so long, but so many things were setting it aside, and I had to give you guys those two other videos. But now I'm finally here with Sage Mode, and I'm excited because the first script I wrote around I was not happy with. That's why I had to rewrite it, but then I got writer's block, and I just but finally it came to me, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Without further ado, let's get started. So this what if starts off like in the anime where Izuku finds out he's quirkless, and yeah, his childhood's basically the same from that, where he goes to school and he tells everyone that he's quirkless, and basically Bakugo makes his life a living hell. So 2 months before the anime, Izuku and Inko would decide to go to a Japanese festival where they'll have a time and have food and have a good time. Where Izuku goes up to a store and he sees quite interesting stuff. This store seems ancient, and Izuku kind of likes that. So he goes into the store and he looks around and he finds a scroll, and he finds the scroll quite interesting. So he buys the scroll. So finally they go back home and Izuku's tired, so he goes back to sleep. So the next day Izuku's looking in his room and he finds his scroll again. He's like, oh yeah, I bought this last night. So he would fiddle with it, thinking, how can I get this open? Damn it. And yeah, Izuku would finally fiddle with it and he'd make it open, and poof, Izuku would just disappear. So Izuku would wake up and he's like, what, where am I? And he looks around and he just sees that he's in this amazing place with so many plants everywhere. And Izuku's quite curious where he is, but also frightened because he just teleported. He's like, wait, maybe it's a villain or hero? What's happening? He's like, wait, is this my quirk maybe? Like, can I teleport? And Izuku's like, alright, maybe this is my quirk. And he's like, alright, since I got myself here, I can maybe go back. And he'll keep on trying, just thinking of his location at home and all that stuff, but it never worked. So Izuku realized, maybe I don't have a quirk, or maybe it's just something else. So he starts walking around, and he's kind of thinks the area is kind of cool. So he just keeps looking around until he pushes some plants away, and he just sees a bunch of frogs, and Izuku's like, and the frogs all look at Izuku and they just start freaking out. It's like, it's a human child! What? How did they get in here? And they all just jumping around, and Izuku's like, he's like, talking toads? So Izuku's just like, oh no, I'm sorry, and like, get grandma, get the other toad, get the chiefs, get them all, and everyone's just freaking out. Izuku's like, I'm sorry, and Izuku would back off, and he's like, and Izuku could hear just a, and Izuku's like, wait, what? And he looks up and he's like, and poof, one giant frog just lands in front of Izuku, one behind him, another one just comes falling down behind him, another on his other side, and they all surround Izuku's like, who are you? And Izuku, I didn't know. And it's like, what are you doing here? How did you get here? Izuku's like, no, I think you misunderstood. I think I was just teleported here or something. They're like, teleported? And one of them's like, he probably means summoned here. And they're like, who would summon you? I don't know. I was just playing with the scroll, and then suddenly I was here. And they're like, it's the missing scroll. And they're like, of course. We better take this kid to Elder Toad. They're like, right, follow us. And they're like, Izuku's like, I'm sorry. And Izuku's just walking, and he's freaking out at this point. He's like, what did I do? Crap. Where's my mom? Oh my gosh, I need a hero. And he just keeps on walking until they finally reach Elder Toad. And he's like, why are you here, Gamapunta? He's like, Fukasaki, we found this kid. Somehow he was summoned here. And the Elder Toad's like, whew, what do you want me to do with it? It's like, well, we're helping you with tell us what to do. And he's like, huh, well, we've never had this situation in quite a while, so let's treat the old man. Take him to the great toad sage. And they're like, wait, what? And they're like, but we don't even know. The child's defenseless. Look at him. He's scrawny. Take him to him. They're like, right. And he follows, and they take Izuku to Garamara. I can't really say his name. I think Garmamara. Gamamara. Whatever. It's that big old tall toad, whatever. You guys know what I mean. So they get there, and finally, and Fukazaki's great toad sage, this human child has somehow entered our sacred grounds. I don't know. We don't know what to do with him. We came here to seek your guidance. And the great toad sage is like, bring the child to me. They're like, but sir, they're just like, bring the child to me. And they're like, oh, okay. And the toad just looks at Izuku, and he kind of puts his hand on Izuku, and everyone's like freaking out, like, and like, and the toad's like, what is your name, young man? It's like, my name is Izuku Midoriya. And the toad's like, what's your quirk? It's like, I actually don't have a quirk. And he's like, huh, makes sense. And he's like, so what? I need to know, what is your greatest desire? And it's like, well, I don't know if it's, but anyways, I always wanted to be a hero. I want to save people. I want to be like All Might, but since I don't have a quirk, I'm not able to do that. Sir Toad. And the toad's like, huh. Huh. So you want a quirk so you can be able to save people. Is that so? And it's like, yes, but unfortunately, you see, you can't get a quirk. A quirk is something you're born with, and I don't have any quirk, so I can't be like All Might. It's like, All Might, he's that human with that quirk that passed on from generations. And it's like, what? But you mean All Might, the number one hero? Yeah. And he's like, that's why he's number one, from his quirk. Huh. Come here, Izuku. And it's like, yeah. It's like, why do you want to be a hero again? And it's like, well, I said I want to save people. I want to see people smile, just like All Might. I've always admired him, man, but, you know, I don't have the power to do that. And he's like, of course. What if I told you we can give you power? And the other Toad's like, great Toad, I don't think this is necessary. We cannot give him that power. They're like, shh. I did not tell you this, Fukuzaki. But I did have a dream. And he's like, another one? He's like, yes. And this boy you see right here, he is destined to be the world's greatest hero and the savior of the world. He will make world peace. And he's like, sir, I mean not sir, but Grand Toad, you've never had a prophecy in centuries. Why only now? He's like, I told you, because he will be the next child of prophecy. He will save the world. He will change it to where everyone can understand each other and work in harmony, where there's no division. And the elder Toad's like, alright, what was your name again? He's like, Izuku. He's like, Izuku, come here. And Izuku walks to him, and Fukazaki looks in Izuku's eyes, and he's like, huh, this kid does seem pure. And the Grand Toad's like, I told you. Now, why don't you go and teach this boy what we know? And the Elder Toad's like, alright, Gamabunta, it's fine. You don't need to be so hostile. He's like, alright. and he takes Izuku and he's like, follow me, child. And Izuku's like, alright, I'm coming. And he's like, so you say you want to be a hero, but you're quirkless. He's like, yeah? Well, that's about to change. He's like, well, you going to give me a quirk? He's like, not exactly. I'm more of going to teach you something. At 2 o'clock tomorrow, meet us here again. I'm gonna send you back to where you came from, and make sure your mom does not touch the scroll, because that scroll has been missing for years now, and it has been gathering some stuff and finally triggered with you. So yeah, if you just want to come back here, just open up the scroll like you did last time, alright? And it looks like, alright. And he said, alright, can see you tomorrow, kid. And don't tell anyone about this. I'm serious, kid. And Izuku's like, right. And he teleports him back, and Izuku's like, whoa, what the hell just happened? And he pinches himself. He's like, was this a dream? And he's like, no, this is reality. He's like, oh my gosh, I just talked to talking toads. Oh my gosh. Alright. And Izuku's just kind of freaked out, but also excited, because he did mention of something being the number one hero and the savior of the world, and Izuku's just like, okay, I'll take that time, you know what I'm saying? And all that stuff. So yeah, Izuku finally returns back again, and the other Toadets met up with Izuku yet again, and he told Izuku that every day from now, you're gonna meet me here at the same time, and we're gonna train. We're gonna teach you what we know, because the Grand Toad Sage said it, and his prophecies never lie, and we never stranded from him. So I'm gonna believe him and teach you the ways of the Toad Sage. And it looks like Toad Sage. Alright, let's get started. Woo! Alright. So yeah, for the first thing they tell Izuku is they teach Izuku how to meditate, and Izuku kind of struggled a while with that, because he's not really doing this, and he felt like it was cliche, and he would keep saying and Fukazaku was like, stop saying humans always think it's just that's not how you meditate. Alright then. And Izuku would go on to actually be able to meditate properly, and he's like, alright then, now that you learned that, I can teach you the very essence of what you are going to unlock. It's a technique us frogs, well, toads, called Sage Mode. And Izuku's like, Sage Mode? He's like, yes. It's basically a temporary state where everything about you is enhanced. Your speed, strength, agility, reaction time, and sensory abilities. And it feels like, wait, so you're saying that? That's the power you want to grant to us? Grant to me? He's like, yes. But before you learn this, swear to me that you will never tell anyone about the true source of your power. And you never lead anyone into Mount Miraboku, because this is a sacred ground that has been here for millennial. I can't even say it. Millennium. Yo, you guys, I have a lisp. I dodged the fact for how many years now, but I have to face reality. I have a lisp. I can't say some words. Or maybe it's just that I can't say some. Oh, whatever. Getting off topic again. So he continued on to say that don't ever let anyone in here, because it will endanger this safety of the frogs and toads in here, and we don't want that, alright, Izuku? Can you promise me that? He's like, yes, of course. I don't want anyone getting hurt because of me. And he's like, good. Alright then, I'll teach you what Sage Mode is. How Sage Mode works is that you harness the nature energy around you and you perfectly align it with your, well, I'm just gonna make up stuff since I don't want to involve chakra because that would get all messy. I'm just gonna say you gotta balance it with your spiritual energy, but then at the same time that's chakra. But you know what I mean. You gotta balance it correctly with your spiritual energy, and if you don't, well, you're gonna turn into a frog and then into stone. So that's not fun, is it? And it's like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, this is pretty hard to master. Not all frogs, even though we're frogs, not all of us can do it. I'm joking, all of us can. You puny humans cannot. And it's like, well done. Well done. So yeah, he starts explaining how to do everything, and he's like, alright, before we do that, we're going to teach you another technique, what you're going to use. And it's going to be real helpful. And Izuku's like, what is it? We're going to teach you how to summon. He's like, summon? He's like, yeah. Because, what if you want to just get here a fast point or summon one of us to help you out? He's like, wait, so you guys will help me out? He's like, yes. The Grand Toad Sage did say that you're basically a child of prophecy, and we cannot let the child of prophecy die. You're gonna change the world, and we, us toads, really want to know that. We've been watching over the human realm for so long. I'm just making Mamu Yoboku like a different realm than Earth, whatever, whatever. I'm gonna drink some water now, just. Sorry for the professional thing, but yeah, deal with it. So yeah, he tells him how to do the hand sides for the summoning and all that, and Izuku's excited, so he's like, alright, let me try that. And he's saying, alright then. So Izuku finally tries to summon, and at first he doesn't really summon anything. And he's like, wait, but why is it not working? He's like, well, you're not using enough spiritual in it. Just saying it's not chakra, and he's not gonna get different abilities like chakra, like Rasengan. None of that. Alright, it's just, I don't want none of that. Alright, I don't want none of that. Alright, none of that. Alright, none of that. So Izuku keeps on trying how to summon everything, and finally he summons, but it wasn't exactly what they were looking for. Elder Toad was actually looking for Izuku to summon Gamabuta, but instead he summoned a small frog. And Izuku's like, is this the right person? He's like, no. And the frog and the Toad's like, hi, I'm Gamabunta. No, not Gamabunta. I'm Gamakichi. So why was I summoned here? And Izuku's like, wait, you're not Gamabunta? He's like, no, Gamabunta's my dad. I'm his son, Gamakichi. I know what you're thinking. You are disappointed about my size, but one day I'm gonna be as big and strong as my dad. You just wait. And Izuku's like, no, I didn't mean that. It's just I wasn't expecting this, and this is basically my first time like actually summoning a frog, so I was just shocked I was able to do it. I'm sorry. He's saying, alright then. So Izuku would continue to talk with Gamakichi, and Izuku would actually become a little close with the frog, not in a weird way, just a companion, you could say. So Izuku keeps on trying, and the other Toad tells him to focus and try to gather as much as energy and strength that you have to summon him. So Izuku's like, alright then. And he tries, just like, summoning Gamabuta. And he's like, and finally he summons Gamabuta, which is just a massive frog. And Izuku's like, yes! And the other Toad's like, well done. And Gamabuta's like, who summoned me? And it's like, oh, Fukuzaki, did you summon me? He's like, no. Check on your head. And he's like, huh? And he's like, what's on my head? And he grabs Izuku and he's like, huh? You're that human child. How did you summon me? And he's like, well, Elder Toad taught it to me. I didn't do anything. He's like, alright then. What's your name? He's like, Izuku Midoriya? He's like, Izuku Midoriya. You think that you are worthy of summoning me? He's like, no, it's just that he told me. He's like, no. The only way you can summon me is if you can stay on my head for one whole day. And just like, wait, what? But I didn't. He's like, if you don't stay on my head the whole day, I will never allow you to summon me. And it looks like, oh crap. And he's like, oh, Fukuzaki. He's like, you all toads have different personalities, and sometimes you need to do different things to gain their trust. As you can solve the difference from Gamekichi, where you just talked to him and he became your friend, from Gamambuta, who's challenging you. And he's like, crap. And Gamambuta was like, alright then, here it goes, kid. And he just starts jumping around, and Izuku just screaming around, staying on his head, trying to stay on his head. So yeah, that goes on, and Izuku's able to stay on Gamabunta's head, but after he's finally done it, he just passes out. Gamabunta acknowledged that Izuku's actually a hard worker, and he decides that he's worthy of him, so he allows Izuku to be able to summon him. So after 2 weeks, Izuku was able to summon as easily as nothing, and and Izuku was able to summon basically any toad that he wanted. And he's actually become really close with Gamekichi, and he's basically Izuku's personal toad, like in Naruto and all that stuff. But until Gamekichi goes, you guys know what I mean. So yeah, Izuku, after training one day, realizes that he's starting to grow a little bigger, and he's seeing that the training's paying off. Even though it's only been 2 weeks and he's only been trying to summon, his muscles are becoming a little more defined. And Izuku realizes this training is legit. At first, he had a little doubts when he couldn't summon anything, but when he summoned Gambunta and all that stuff, he gained real confidence in this thing called Sage Mode. So Izuku finally comes back, and Fukazaki's like, alright then. The time has come, Izuku. You finally get to learn Sage Mode. And Izuku's excited, and Fukuzaki starts to explain yet again what Sage Mode is, but he tells Izuku that he didn't exactly explain everything about Sage Mode. And this is where I'm going to change some stuff, to make Izuku overpowered, you know what I mean? It's just, I thought you wanted OP things, so I don't say. And he says, there's one thing you need to know about Sage Mode, is that it has changed. And it looks like, what do you mean change? You said that it just basically just boosts my overall stats. It's like, true. And it does do that still. But before, Sage Mode was just a temporary boost where you can't really grow it or decrease it. But now, somehow, ever since the evolution of quirks, Sage Mode has kind of changed, the quirks basically in your body is the mixture of spiritual, and I'm just making this out of my butt, you guys, just don't take it seriously. It's basically your spiritual energy mixing with your DNA to make a quirk. But that's true, but since spiritual energy is everywhere, and basically when you're taking in the spiritual energy, Sage Mode somehow developed its own type of quirk, similar to a quirk. What's his name? Oh my, that hero. You're like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, basically Sage Mode. You can make it stronger, but yeah, that's gonna take some time to do it. For now, just it doesn't really matter. And it looks like, wait, what do you say about All Might? It's like, I said it's not important. Alright, Izuku, let's get this started. So Izuku's like, alright. And he's training from learning how to meditate really helped Izuku, but it's not gonna go as swimmingly as Naruto did. So the first week, Izuku's struggling, trying to balance the nature and spiritual chakra, and Fukuzaku just hit Izuku, just destroying all of it, getting rid of all of it. And Izuku, for the first week, it was most painful. And every time we would come home, we would have bruises, and Inko would always ask, but Izuku was just like, it's fine, Mom. Just leave it alone. She's like, oh, it's fine. Because she knows that he gets bullied and all that stuff. And she's tried multiple times complaining to school and everything. But since Izuku doesn't really have a quirk like that, they don't really care for quirkless people. Which is messed up. But it's a standard in the shonen. One race gets discriminated, whatever. Someone gets discriminated, whatever, and the outcast and becomes a bit. Well, whatever. No, that's not shonen. So, no. Of course not. Getting off topic yet again. So Izuku watches that old All Might video that he always used to watch as a kid, and seeing that really inspired him, and he's like, I can do this. I can be just like All Might. So Izuku finally goes back to Mount Miraboku with full Dark energy, and Fukuzaku is like, Izuku, coming back with the energy. Okay. Alright, let's get this training started. So Izuku finally would start to get a handle of it and start showing signs of doing it. But his perfect balance just wasn't there yet, and he still occasionally get whacked by him. But finally, Izuku would just start showing signs of actually perfecting it. And finally, Izuku was able to get a harness on it, but he wasn't able to, finally get it there. So Izuku would be like, crap, I need to finally get there. And Izuku would feel frustrated and start hitting things around his room until his mom comes in. He's like, Izuku, what's going on? He say, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm frustrated. She's like, what are you frustrated about? He says, okay, I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to master something. And at first it was really hard, but finally I'm starting to get signs of, actually doing it. But now it's suddenly just stopped. I don't have any signs. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to progress forward. And then Ko's like, Izuku, you need to calm down, alright? I know you've been leaving every day to do some training, but I'm okay with that, Izuku. I really am. But you can't just force something, Izuku. It has to come through practice and repetition, Izuku. That's something people always forget, and this is one of the first time. But if you truly want to be successful, always remember the fundamentals and build up from that, alright? And Izuku's like, alright, thanks for the advice, Mom. And Izuku would calm down, and he realizes that the reason why he's not being able to fully do it because he's rushing his meditation process. Fukuzaku told him that he needs to be completely still and focused, but Izuku, ever since he got that first sign, has kind of fallen apart on his foundation of meditating, staying still. So Izuku realizes that's his problem. So he goes back to Mount Miraboku in a rush, and Fukuzaku's like, kid, your training's finished for today. He's like, no, I finally got a hand of it. He's like, what do you mean? And Izuku's like, come on. And Fukuzaku's like, alright then. And Izuku sits down and he's perfectly still, and Fukuzaku's like, looks like he finally mastered it. And Izuku's able to freaking turn on Sage Mode, and Fukuzaku's like, well done, kid. Well done. And it looks like, whoa, this is Sage Mode? I don't feel any different. He's like, that's true. But your strength is completely on a different level now. But don't get too cocky, Izuku. I've been watching the human realm. There are people quite as powerful you and even more powerful. But don't worry. That's when I told you where the Sage Mode has changed, and it's become something new. but you can make Sage Mode stronger. It's gonna take some time. And Izuku's like, it's okay. As long as I have this, I can still be a hero. I can save people. Thank you. He's like, don't thank me yet. Your training's not finished. You may be able to access Sage Mode, but you're already out of it. Look. And he's like, crap, I lost it. It's like, exactly. You need to spend some time to be able to get a handle of it quickly and to maximize your minutes. And Izuku's like, alright. So that's what they spend the next week doing, mastering the everything about Sage Mode. And finally, Izuku has finished that training and he has a solid time of 7 minutes of Sage Mode. And Fukusagi is quite impressed because no one before has had 7 minutes of Sage Mode like that. And he's like, you see the already first signs of the quirk changing. Maybe it is going to come faster than I thought. So they go back to the great Toad Sage and he tells him that his training is finished. And he kind of just laughs and he's like, Izuku Midoriya, you are something special. Before you came here, you were a timid boy wanting to be a hero, but now you have confidence and have skills. In just a span of a month and a half, in almost 2 months. Everyone here can tell you that they are proud of you, even though some of them want to admit it. Looking at Fukusaki, and he just looks away, and Izuku kind of laughs. He's saying, "I just want, from the behalf of everyone, make us all proud, become a great hero, and remember, we're watching." And Izuku's like, "Thank you, Grand Toad Sage." And yeah, he goes back and he says goodbye to all these frogs, and he tells Gamikichi that he'll be summoning you someday, so you better be ready. You better grow big and strong already. He's like, "You already know, Deku." What do you call him, Deku? No, you already know, Midoriya. And Midoriya just kind of smiles. And he finally says his final goodbyes to Fukusaki, saying, "Thank you for all you've done. I couldn't have done this without you." He's like, "Yeah, I know. Just remember, kid, change doesn't happen without you doing anything, alright? Change happens when you do something. Just remember that, alright?" And Izuku's like, "Alright, man. See ya." He's like, "See ya." And Izuku finally goes back and officially finishing his training and mastered Sage Mode. And Izuku's happy with himself, and he just goes downstairs and he just starts jumping around and saying, "Mom, I did it!" And Inko doesn't know what's happening, but she's excited for Izuku because he's happy, so she's happy now. So they just start jumping around all happy. So finally, it's the beginning of the anime, and Izuku, after 1 week finishing his training, he's already missing the frogs. He's already missing Fukusaki and Gamabunta and the great Toad Sage, and also Fukusaki's wife. You know, I didn't really mention it, but yeah, Izuku unfortunately tasted their food, and that's one thing Izuku does not miss from there. So yeah, it's finally the beginning of the anime where the teacher says, "You guys are third years now, so you guys will have to start planning out your future. I would pass out these flyers, but I already know all of you want to become heroes." And everyone just starts using their quirks, and Izuku was just sitting there, all just, with the neutral look on his face. Ever since he came back, ever since he started training with Fukusaki, Izuku has lost fear for Bakugo and all that stuff, and he doesn't really care about that people calling him Deku or quirkless kid or all of that. He just does not care, because the toads told him while I was about to say masturbating. What the heck? Well, meditating, that you just need to block out all those negative thoughts and just think in your mind and just focus. And that's what Izuku applies. He applies that same law, I could say, to everything else. So yeah, the teachers start talking and all that stuff, and Baku's like, I'm going to UA, and he's like, oh, Midori, aren't you going to UA too? And Izuku just kind of, he's like, yes. And it was like, Izuku, what is Izuku going through? Yeah, maybe he was going to the gym a little, but doesn't mean he can be a hero. And everyone just starts laughing, and Baku was like, Deku! And does his best thing, and Izuku does not react at all and just kind of breathes in. He's like, alright then, Kachan, yeah. And it's just like, shut down, Bakugo. So yeah, it's after school, and Bakugo comes at him trying to mess with him, but Izuku's not giving him anything, and Bakugo finally realizes that's when Izuku has changed. He's like, when did Izuku have this exterior to him? They're like, yeah, when did he have this? And Bakugo's kind of getting suspicious now. So Izuku's walking home, all that stuff. He's like, maybe I should visit him today. Nah, it's a bit too soon. It's only been 1 week. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be saying this out loud. They did say they were watching me. Wait, I didn't ask. How are they watching me? And Izuku just starts freaking out. Like, what the? And all that stuff. And while that's happening, the sludge is coming out the sewer. He's like, give me your body, kid. And Izuku looks at him. He's like, oh, it's a villain. And this villain's like, and he jumps on Izuku, trying to suffocate Izuku. But Izuku's like, well, not breathing. He realizes that he's being suffocated, and he assesses the situation, and he's like, stay perfectly still. And as Izuku's doing that, and the surgeon's like, oh, you're compliant, kid? Thanks. The still you are, the easier this will be. I like you, kid. You just accepted your fate. Thank you. I really appreciate this. You're my hero. I didn't know that freak was in town. And Izuku's like, And the sludge train's going inside of him. And Izuku, at this point, he's gathering a nature chakra to finally, he's gathering nature chakra, and as he finally has enough, he opens his eyes, and he has the frog-like eyes, but he just hears, Texas smash, and the freaking villain just gets demolished, and Izuku just pops out of it, and he's like, whoa, what was that? And he looks, and he's like, I can feel. He's like, whoa, you're All Might! Turning off Sage mode. And he's like, yes, are you? And all that stuff. And Izuku asks for autograph, and almost like, of course, and all that stuff. And he's like, kid, I'm not gonna lie, when I came in, I saw you weren't freaking out or nothing. I know it's just maybe that's a way of tolerating, but like, what was that all about? He's like, well, basically, I was trying to activate my quirk to be able to defeat it, and to be able to activate it, I need to be still. And yeah, and Omar's like, oh, interesting quirk. What is your quirk all about? He's like, no, basically just enhance my quirk. Well, in a funny way, it's kind of like yours. And he's like, yeah. Alright, then I gotta get it going, kid. And he's like, yeah, sure, All Might. So All Might jumps away and all that stuff. And Zuko's excited that he finally was able to meet All Might. So I'm just gonna say All Might was a bit clumsy, and he drops the sludge villain. Oh my gosh, I need water again. Hope you guys enjoyed me drinking water. That'll be $50 now. Yes, I'll be making my ASMR channel in 2 days, so stay tuned. So yeah, I'm just gonna say All Might this is silly and drops the sludge when and Izuku be walking home all excited that he met All Might and now he's like I gotta tell at least Kichi about this and he just hears he's like what the hell is that and he's like what the and Izuku's like no time to waste and he just starts running to the situation. And he arrives there and he's like, wait, it's that same villain. And he just sees the sludge ring and he's like, crap, what the? It's like, but didn't All Might take it in? He's like, he must have dropped it or something because I swear he took him in. He's like, crap, what am I going to do? No, what are these heroes going to do? And he's looking around and he's like, wait. He asked one of the people, was like, wait, why aren't the heroes doing anything? They're like, well, their quirks don't match the sludge villain and these heroes are becoming less lazy and less willing anymore. What, they don't care about our lives anymore? And everyone just starts talking and Zuko, he kind of thinks the same. He's like, why aren't they doing anything? They're supposed to be heroes. And he's like, if All Might was here, he would have done something. And he said that out loud. And everyone's like, yeah, the All Might would have done something. Well, All Might's standing there. He's like, yeah, but I would have, but I can't. My chest. And Izuku at this point, he's like disappointed at the heroes. And he's like, heroes. He's like, this is not the definition of a hero. He's like, no, kind of like that. And Zuko's like, no. And he turns on Sage mode. He's like, I'll do it myself. So Izuku turns on Sage mode and he jumps over the crowd and starts running. And he's kind of a blitz to the guys. Like, whoa, what was that? And Izuku looks at the sludge room. The sludge is like, it's that you, kid. You didn't give me your body next time, but I don't care. I got a better one. Now I can kill you. And Zuko's like that. And Zuko catches the punch again. And Sludge Wind's like, hey, what? And Zuko kind of runs around the sludge. Well, he grabs the hand of the sludge villain and he uses his own hand to kind of like tie it up. And Zuko's like, huh. And the sludge villain's kind of struggling in his own sludge. And Zuko's like, I didn't think that would work, but I guess so. And then he just takes Bakugo out. And Bakugo's like, Izuku, what the? And Zuko's just like, throws Bakugo to one of the heroes. And they catch him. And Zuko's like, alright then. Time to. Then All Might comes. It's like, you are something special, kid. I mean, I didn't expect the kid to jump in and be able to save this kid. You inspired me, kid. But now I'm gonna do my job. Texas Smash! I think it's a Texas Smash. And he defeats the Sludgeman again while changing the weather. And everyone witnessing All Might's power. And Izuku, he's also impressed with All Might's power because yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. So all the reporters and all that just swarm Izuku and All Might and ask Izuku's like, what you going and all that stuff and All Might, of course, the usual. So they're like, kid, wow, your quirk's amazing. What's your name? He's like, my name's Izuku Midoriya. It's like, what's your quirk? Izuku's like, I don't really have, and lucky for Izuku, someone changes the subject. It's like, why did you decide to go and help your friend, that kid? It's like, well, that kid's my friend, so I couldn't. The heroes weren't doing anything. I couldn't bear to see his face like that. So suddenly my legs just started moving, and well, everything happened, and like, wow. The true essence of a hero, huh? And everyone just keeps asking Izuku questions. And Izuku's like, I'm sorry, guys, I gotta go. So Izuku goes away and he's walking home. He's like, oh, that was amazing. And then Bakugo comes around and says, hey, Izuku, I didn't need your help. And I didn't know you have a quirk. You've been lying to me all these years? And Izuku's like, well, and he's like, I don't care. I will never need your help. I don't care with your stupid quirk that changes your eyes. Screw you. And he just walks off and Izuku's like, well, yeah. And he walks and then Izuku thinks to himself, wait, I gotta tell everyone about this. And Izuku does hand side and he summons himself there. And that's when All Might comes. It's like, I am here? Where's that young man? So yeah, Izuku finally goes back to Boku, and everyone knew Izuku was there. Like, hey Izuku, and yeah, Izuku's like, hey guys, I miss you guys. Like, it's only been a week, you crybaby. Izuku's like, yeah, but I actually came to talk with Elder Toad. He's like, oh, Fukuzaki, yeah, he's in his house as usual. So yeah, Izuku goes there and he tells Fukuzaki about everything what happened, and that he's kind of disappointed in the heroes, and he didn't expect them not to do anything. He thought at least they'll do something. And Fukuzaki's like, wow, Izuku, did you already forget what I told you before? And Izuku's like, what? And he's like, if you want these so-called heroes to change, show them an example. Show them what you want them to be. Like I said, you cannot expect change. You have to make change happen. And Izuku's like, true, but how do I do that? I don't have my pro hero license. And Izuku's like, you see, you're thinking exactly the same as them. You want them to be a true hero. What would a true hero do? You need to do change now, alright, Izuku? That's what you need to do. And Izuku realizes this and he's like, if I want everything else to change, I have to lead by example. And Izuku realizes, like, thanks, Elder Toad. And Elder Toad's like, you're welcome, kid. And he just continues eating his bugs and all that stuff. That is Izuku. So Izuku finally goes home and he realizes what he needs to do. So Izuku goes into his notebook again and he's like, I've been planning this for a while. I didn't think it would come so soon. So Izuku would get fabric and all that stuff, and he would make himself his own costume. Well, not costume. He would make himself a mask at least, so he wouldn't get recognized. And well, basically what Izuku's trying to do, he's gonna become a vigilante. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna become a vigilante because he needs to do it himself. He can't wait to become a hero, all that stuff, and then do the change. He has to do change now. That's what he feels like. So Izuku just makes a mask so people wouldn't recognize him. And he goes out. So for the 10 months, Izuku is, well, you could say a vigilante. So Izuku would first go out and he would just start some petty crimes like purse snatches and all that stuff, and he's like, it's no problem, and he'll just go away until Izuku starts racking up and going up and just taking on bigger challenges and all that stuff. Izuku would basically be like a prime All Might, but he's not. He's almost at the strength. Yeah, he's almost at the strength, I would say. So Izuku would basically just going spinning around, defeating all these villains and making the place better. And the citizens would recognize this and they would realize that the heroes are not doing this. And they're like, it's just vigilante. And people saying, they're like, yeah, we don't know him. And they all start talking like that. And Izuku's actually starting to get public support from the people. Whilst on the other side, you could say the fake pro heroes would actually hate this new vigilante because he's taking all the credit for the villains and they're not getting anything and their popularity is not growing up. And they start to actually actively hunt down this guy. And Izuku would actually be, downtown taking on a villain. And Izuku, as he defeated the villain, Izuku just gets jumped, you could say, by 6 pro heroes. And Izuku's like, what the? And they're like, stop! You're under arrest! You know vigilantism is a crime. You don't have a pro hero license. You're under arrest. And Izuku's like, no. Well, of course he has like he doesn't show his face because he has a mask and all that stuff. And he's like, no, I will not stand here any longer. You fake heroes, you so-called, are out here only taking out villains so you can get fame and money. I won't allow it. I can't have heroes like this anymore. What has happened to the name hero? Why aren't people being like All Might? Shouldn't it be inspired to try your best and actually save people and don't care about all that fame and stuff? That's the true essence of a hero. They're like, we don't care, kid. All we want to do is take you down. You are disrupting without, well, business? Well, not businesses. Our careers, and like, get him! And they all use their quirks on him, and Izuku just kind of laughs at this, and he just leaps away, and they're like, crap, this guy's just too much for us, and all that stuff. And Izuku would actually develop the hero, vigilante hero? No, the vigilante name Stain. I'm not, did I really just say Stain? Bruh, this is not Stain. Sage, because every time Izuku, like I said, learned basically everything from the Toad. So Izuku learned some fighting styles from the Toad. So every time he starts fighting, he shouts Sage Arts, and every villain he's taking down hear this, and also some civilians, and they're like, Sage Arts, they're like, hey, maybe that's his ultimate move or something. They're like, yeah, maybe that would be like his hero name and all that stuff, and they all speculate, and they just start calling him the Sage, because also he's some type of legend, because some people don't even see him. He's just so fast that he takes them down. Well, because they scared. Izuku would be so happy with these results, and he would go back to the Mount Miyaboku and tell everyone about this, how he's doing his part and just, doing all this stuff. And everyone would be proud of him, and they're like congratulating him, and he goes to the Great Toad Sage, and he's like, you see, Izuku, you're already making the world a better place, but remember, soon is the time that you should stop, Izuku. He's like, what do you mean stop? He's like, I'm telling you, Izuku, just remember when to stop, alright? And he's like, alright, sir. Oh, well, yeah, alright, sir, he could say that. So, yeah, this is where I'm also gonna use my what if powers. So, yeah, Izuku would finally go out for his patrol to become a vigilante, and this is when Izuku overhears a police scanner where there's a villain raging downtown, and there's a big fire, and there's only two pro heroes on site. They facing this man which can grow muscle vestiges, and Izuku's like, I've heard this guy before. What's his name? He's muscular. Oh crap. He's a major villain. I've been tracking him down for months now. He's actually, I need to go. And Izuku goes down, and this is when actually Muscular is fighting the water hose heroes, which is called his parents. And as Muscular is like, time for you guys to die, and he's about to squash them both, and they both just like kind of I wouldn't say half dead. They kind of like bleeding out. Izuku just blitzes Muscular, and he grabs him. He's like, "Are you guys okay?" They're like, you shouldn't be here. Get out of here." And he's like, "No, you guys were clearly gonna die, and I cannot allow this. I cannot allow him to stay out here. It's okay." And they're like, "No, kid, you don't." And they pass out, and Izuku's like, alright then. He's like, Muscular, and like, oh, who's this kid? And Izuku's like, you don't need to know my name, but people do call me Sage, if you're actually that curious. And he's like, say, I've heard of that name. You're that stupid vigilante that's just stopping all the weak villains. Alright, you gaining such a reputation for defeating villains, but you've never gone against me. This is gonna be fun. So Muscular takes off his thing, and he goes into his big state and all that stuff, and Izuku is just standing there looking at Muscular. Muscular's like, time to die, kid. And he comes rushing at, well, he doesn't say kid, time to die, hero. And Izuku's just looking at him, and he blitzes Muscular, and Muscular's like, wait, what? And and Izuku was able to defeat Muscular in one punch. Muscular just going flying into the air, and he crashes down, knocked out cold. And Izuku's like, I challenged my ass. And yeah, Izuku would see Koda's parents, and he's like, are you guys alright? They're like, you're a sage, like, we have to take you. And Izuku's like, that's not the time for it now. You guys are injured. I need to get you to the hospital. Like, but we can't let you. You're a vigilante. And Izuku's like, you guys are gonna die. It doesn't matter. No, I worded that wrong. You guys, if you guys don't get help now, you're gonna die. And they're like, oh, alright. And Izuku rushes him to the hospital, and he checks them in real quick, and everyone's like, is that Sage? And Izuku's becoming popular he's becoming popular and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Izuku goes back, and he goes back on the streets taking out villains yet again. And word starts spreading that Sage was took out a massive villain just in one punch, and everyone's just doing all this stuff. And this is when actually Sage starts to blow up, and people just like think he's probably one of the best heroes, like on the standards of All Might. They probably think he could possibly be the number 2 hero, because like they prefer him much more than Endeavor. They probably think he can be the number 2 hero and all that stuff. And all this will grow into proportionate. Izuku would just kind of smile, seeing that he's got so many supporters behind him and all that stuff. And one day Izuku would go back on the streets of Japan to take out villains. But now that there's 2 major houses that they have to deal with, they have to deal with All Might and Sage. There's been less and less villains on the street. After they even heard that the freaking overpowered villain called Muscular was defeated in one punch, everyone since then has been scared to go on the streets. Suzuku's kind of out there a little longer than he's supposed to, and he's just scrolling around. He's like, there's nothing left to do. And this is like, and he walks into a corner, and that's when he hears, so you're Sage. And Izuku looks behind him, and he's like, who's there? And he's like, All Might? And All Might's like, Sage, you are under arrest. And Izuku's like, what are you, and Sage's like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything wrong. It's like, you've been using your quirk without a provisional license. That is illegal in Japan. And it looks like, but don't you see the hero work I've been doing? I've been stopping these villains better than most of these people. And it looks like, and all my sake, that is true. And I do commend you for that. But you should have done it the right way and gotten your provisional license first. This is not necessary. And kid, and Zuko's like, what are you talking about? I'm not a kid. He's like, kid, I already know that you're a kid because I can already tell of how you handle the situation. And Zuko's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I can tell that you have no hero training whatsoever, because how you handle situations is just not in a way pro heroes would do, or even so an adult. But I can see that you're strong, and that's what you mostly rely on. That's how you're able to defeat all these villains. But eventually, these villains will get stronger than you think, and you need to think for that, and you need to have proper training. Do you know how to rescue people? Do you know how to handle press? Do you know how to do all this stuff? There's much more than being a hero than this. He's like, no. But that's the thing. I only wanted to be this. where people save people is like true. But if you don't learn how to save people, people will die. I've known for a long time that. That's why I can't allow this to go on. And Izuku's like, well, I can't sit back and allow this to happen. And All Might's like, you don't want to do this, kid. And he's like, I think I do. And all that stuff. And All Might and Izuku turns on Sage mode. And All Might and Izuku have this battle. And All Might and Izuku both throw a punch, which actually sends like a sound wave. And it was like, what the heck was that? And All Might and Izuku both realize that if they both go with their full strength, they're gonna freaking destroy everything. So immediately they start to hold back and they throwing punches all for that. And All Might's surprised that Izuku's keeping up. And Izuku, he's like, All Might's surprised that Izuku's keeping up. And he's saying, this kid is almost stronger than me. Wait, what am I talking? He's stronger than me right now. And he's throwing kicks and all that stuff. And Izuku catches it. And Izuku throws a punch. It's like, Sage Arts! Thunder Punch! I don't know. And he throws a punch which sends All Might flying. And All Might's like, oh, kid, what the hell? You have... No lie, kid. You have tremendous strength. And, I'm impressed. And Izuku's like, thanks. And Izuku's, realizes that he got hit by All Might in the face. And that's, like in anime where they have the delay crack. And Izuku's like, thanks. And his max breaks off. And one of his eyes exposed. And All Might, he's like, wait, I know that eye. And All Might, Izuku's like, crap. And he covers it. And he's like, you're that kid. You're Izuku Midoriya, aren't you? And Izuku's like, crap, how did he know my name? Oh, what? They're gonna kill me, Oh my gosh. And he's doing that, he's like, I'm gonna get arrested. Oh, mom's gonna know. Oh, crap. He's like, no, I'm not Izuku Midoriya. He's like, wow, you're that same kid. I've been looking for you all this time. And Izuku's like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, remember that sludge incident? After that, I wanted to talk to you. But it's too late. But I don't want to miss up on this opportunity. Look, kid. I know you want to save the world and all that stuff and change it. But there are certain ways to do this. Times has changed. And I was just like you. I wanted to go out and just finally just do it. But there's a lot of things that I didn't know. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, that's why I went to UA. To learn. To also build resources. To build connections. Because that's what you need to be a hero. Alright? Izuku? Why don't you come to UA? If you just stop this right now, everyone acknowledges that you're a great hero. That's why it would be anticlimactic to arrest you at the same time. But the hero agencies are, well, not hero agencies, well, the hero government are giving you a chance to stop this and actually do this the right way. Come on, Izuku. And Izuku is like, alright, fine. I'm only agreeing because I don't want my mom to kill me. Please don't let her find out. Please. And I was like, yeah, my word. But maybe you want a better costume than just a black hoodie and a faulty mask. And it's like, this is all I had, All Might. No one can just, whatever. And All Might just kind of laughs. So yeah, Izuku stops his vigilante, all that stuff, and he's actually going to UA. He doesn't actually have to take the entrance exams because he's getting a straight recommendation from All Might himself to go to school, and they not generously, they happily accept it, because if All Might's giving recommendations, of course they're gonna freaking take him in. So yeah, Izuku's walking down the halls and he's excited. He's like, this is actually pretty exciting. I thought it was gonna be like in middle school, completely depressing, but this seems good. And all that stuff. And Izuku, as he walks in, he's like, huh, wonder what the class is gonna be. And he sees that it's Bakugo arguing with this kid and all that stuff. Izuku's like, Bakugo's in the class. He's like, but since this time, Izuku did not do the entrance exam, Ida and Bakugo just continue arguing, and Izuku just sits down and all that stuff. And more people start coming in, and people are like, "Did you see that Sage and all?" And they start talking about Sage, and Izuku's like, "What the hell? Was I really that popular?" And all that stuff. And that's when Mrs. Zhao was like, "It took you guys 8 seconds for you to shut up, and all that stuff." And it tells everyone to meet him outside, and they're gonna be doing a quirk assessment. So he goes outside and he explains everything about the Warsaw Fair and all that stuff. And Zuko's like, I don't know, first-hand experience. And like, he's like, you want to say something? He's like, no, sorry, sir. He's like, all right. And he continues and all that stuff. And he gives the ball to Bakugo this time because Izuku didn't take the entrance exam. So he doesn't really know where he's at. So he just gives it to Bakugo since he got the highest. And Bakugo throws the same ball and he gets the same place. And everyone starts getting excited as usual. And Zao gets pissed off as usual. And he tells him whoever comes last will get suspended. So that prompts everyone to try to do their best. So I'm going to say Izuku completely demolishes the speed test. And he comes first place, surpassing Ida. And at first Ida's like, what the... And he's like, I didn't expect someone to actually be faster than me in this class. And he's starting to keep his eye on Izuku. And then all the other tests. And finally, it's time for the ball throw. And everyone's curious to see what Izuku's going to get. Because they see that his strength is out of this world. And it's reminding them kind of All Might's. So Izuku goes up to the pitch. And Izawa's like, can use your quirk anywhere possible. And it's like, right. And he's just standing there and he's meditating, gathering his nature energy, and he finally unlocks it. And Aizawa looks at Izuku and he's like, quite an interesting way to activate a quirk. And Izuku throws the ball as far as he can. And everyone's just like, whoa, the amount of strength. And Izuku throws the ball pretty far, getting a total score of 2,000 meters. And everyone's just jaw is like, and everyone's just surprised of Izuku's strength. So yeah, and Uraraka has her throw and all that stuff. And overall, Izuku comes in first place, and everyone knows that Izuku's the strongest one here. And Bakugo was trying to question Izuku, you could say, of how he got this power, but Aizawa stops him. So after school, Izuku's walking home until he hears a tap on his shoulder, and he's like, huh? And he looks back and he sees it's Uraraka. And she's like, hey! And it looks like, hey. And she's like, hi, I'm Uraraka. And all that stuff. And he introduced herself, and it looks like, hey, I'm Izuku. Midoriya. And she's like, yeah, I saw you do all that test and all that stuff. He's like, yeah, it wasn't really that hard. And she's like, are you kidding? And all that stuff. And Izuku, he does not have much experience with girls, even though he meditates and all that stuff, and he's able to block every bully he has. He still hasn't conquered this conquest. And Uraraka's talking to him, and he's just red in the face while looking at her kind of in a you could say creepy way, but she doesn't really care because she's just impressed with Izuku and she wants to be friends. And she finally says, you want to be friends? Izuku's like, yeah. And she's like, alright then, so what do you do? And they just start talking all that stuff, and that's when also Ida comes, and Izuku kind of relaxes a little bit and all that stuff. So finally, it's time for the next day, it's a normal day as usual until All Might comes running through the doors, like running like a hero, like a normal hero through the, whatever he says, and he explains that they're gonna be doing a combat exercise, and you guys are gonna need your suits and all that stuff, and there's no need. This is there a need for to change it? I can't really think right now of a suit, but just think of a simple one because Izuku doesn't really need anything. So I'll just say, just use your imagination. All right, I'm like, maybe give an example. Whatever. It's Izuku's suit, just orange, to resemble Naruto. And so yeah, All Might starts to explain what they're going to be doing, and he announces the team, the same team as in the anime. So before they start, Uraka asks, "Hey, what's up with you and Bakugo?" And Izuku's like, "No, nothing. It's just that we had this stupid rivalry as a kid, and ever since then, he didn't really like me and all that stuff. And now that I finally got my quirk, he's just kind of being salty and all that stuff." And she's like, "Oh." She's like, "All right, then what's the game plan?" Izuku's, "I'm finally gonna use my trusted friend." And she's like, "Wait, what?" And All Might shouts, "Go!" And wait, before we go in, and he's like, and he summons, and Uraka's, "Huh?" And he finally summons Gamakichi, and Gamakichi's like, "Izuku!" And Izuku's like, "Gamakichi!" And all that stuff, and Uraka's like, "Ah! There's a toad right there. What the? How did you summon this toad?" He's like, "Well, it's a part of my quirk, you could say." And she's like, and he asks Gamakichi, he's like, "All right, Gamakichi, can you find where the bomb is?" He's like, "Sure." And this looks like, "Well, quick, all right, because I want to do this in record time." And he's like, "All right, then, Izuku." So Gamakichi just goes bursting in, and while Gamakichi's going in, he just hears explosions, and Izuku and Bakugo passes right past Gamakichi, not even noticing him. And Gamakichi goes up, and he finally finds the bomb, and he sees that Ida's monologuing, and he kind of just rolls his eyes, he's like, and he finds the bomb, so he finally goes down, and he tells Izuku that the bomb's on the 3rd floor, and Izuku's like, 3rd floor? Alright then, well, let's go, Uraka. She's like, "Great." So they start running in, and they're going to the 3rd floor until they hear Deku, and Izuku he's like, "Alright then." And Bakugo's like, "Take this," and he throws an explosion, but he pushes Uraka out. Well, he saves them both, and Bakugo's like, "Deku," and he tries to throw explosions, and Izuku tries to turn on Sage Mode, but he keeps on moving, so he can't do it. He's like, "Crap," and he's dodging it until Bakugo gets him close to war, and he grips his cards like, "You're gonna tell me how you got this quirk? How did you get this power? I'm not gonna let you be." And he starts monologuing, and Izuku just kind of closes his he doesn't need to close his eyes, and he's just there, and Bakugo's like, "What, you gonna say anything?" And Izuku's like, he's like, "Well, you're lost." And he's like, "Wait, what?" And Izuku just karate chops him. And if you guys seen the One Punch Man, if you guys saw what Saitama done to Goro when he tried to karate chop Saitama, that's what Izuku does to Bakugo, and freaking puts him through the ground, and Bakugo's just knocked out, and Izuku just kind of smiles like, "Let's go, Uraka." And Uraka's like, "Okay." And they start running up. Well, Izuku slowing down so Uraka can keep up. So they arrive at the top, and Ida's like, "Haha, and Izuku just knocks him out. He's like, and he knocks him out, and Izuku just kind of laughs, and he's like, and he touches the bomb, and almost like, "The hero team wins," and all that stuff, and Izuku kind of just laughing of how easy this was, and how Ida was taking this so seriously. And All Might tells him that they done a great job, and Izuku, was the MVP on this, but Uraka could have done more. Could have done something at least, and she knows that, and she's kind of feeling like she was useless. I don't want any of you guys to say she was useless in the comments, alright? None of that. None of that! Uraka is bae, alright? Uraka is bae. I don't want none of you, Baku, whatever. I don't even know your name. I don't even know your fandom, because I'm not gonna say it's trash, but I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna say it's trash. It's trash. Bakugo does not deserve Uraka, a gentle soul like that. A gentle soul needs another gentle soul, Izuku and Uraka. Deku makes Uraka better. And Uraka is Izuku's stability, Stability. So, I don't see any benefits with her going with Bakugo. It's nonsense. Anyways, and it's gonna be canon in the anime, so get mad. Imagine the creator freaking Macadamius just listen to this. He's like, alright, okay. You're so cocky that Deku and Uraka gonna get together, aren't they? And he changes up the script, just making Uraka go with freaking Bakugo. I'd hate that so much. Anyways, I got way off track. So yeah, Izuku and Uraka starts talking to all the other girls and all that stuff, especially Sue. And Sue asks, "Hey, is there not something familiar about Izuku?" She's like, "Yeah, his strength kind of reminds me of All Might." He's like, "True, but also someone else." She's like, "Who?" "I've heard this guy called Sage." And she's like, "Oh yeah. Yeah, I've heard of him. He's just defeating villains all right. He just makes it look so easy." He's like, "Yeah, that kind of reminded me of how Izuku how you guys won your thing. Just reminded me of Sage in a way." And she's like, "Huh. We should investigate into this." And they go, kind of doing that. So yeah. So they go back to school the next day, and Aizawa tells them they've done a good job and they're gonna go to the USJ. So they're on the bus ride, and Uraka finally stands up and she says, "Hey Izuku, have you heard of Sage?" And Izuku's like, "Yeah, I've heard of him. He's like this vigilante or something that I forgot. He everyone's saying that he's a good hero and all that stuff. What about him?" And she's like, interesting. And Zuko's like, okay. But inside Zuko's like, "Crap, does she know that I'm saying crap." And all that stuff. So finally they arrive at the USJ, and they see 13 there, and yeah, everyone's excited. And 13 starts to explain what the USJ is all about and what they're going to be learning here, until a portal starts opening up and villains start spludging inside. And Aizawa's like, "Crap, what the?" And Kirishima are like, "Is this part of the exercise?" And Zawa's like, "No, these are real villains. 13, get these kids out of here." And Zuko's like, "No." And Zawa's like, what are you talking about, Zuko?" And Zuko's like, "Alright then." And he summons Gamakichi. He's like, "Gamakichi, I want you to get these guys to safety, alright? I want you to get them as far as here as possible." He's like, "You got it." "You got it, Izuku." And Gamakichi's like, "Alright, let's go, guys." And he's a small toad, and everyone's like, Izuku? And Aizawa's like, "I don't have time for this." It's like, "Mr. Aizawa, your quirk is not suited for this. Let me take this on." And he's like, "What, you just gonna do everything by yourself?" He's like, "Exactly." And Izuku's like, "Alright." and he stays still. And so I was like, what the? And Izuku turns on his sage mode and he just jumps down, and the villains were coming up the stairs, and Izuku just freaking as fast as he can. It's just freaking demolishing them, throwing them in each other, just doing all these tricks, and he's like, Sage Arts! And just freaking demolishing everyone. And everyone's just looking at Izuku all impressed. And as I was like, what the heck is this kid? He just thinks Izuku's probably like All Might's son or something, because this is unnatural. This is not where you're supposed to be at this age. And Gamachi's just like, let's go, you guys. And that's when what's his name? Kirigu's like, you guys are not going anywhere. And that's when Gamachi's just like, ha, ah! And he jumps up and he and he kicks Kirigiri, and luckily hits his brace, and Kirigiri is like kind of gets agitated, and that gives Bakugo a hint, and he freaking comes at Kirigiri, and he freaking does the thing and all that stuff, and Aizawa uses his quirk on him. I'm not sure if that works, if it's a mutation, but whatever, I'm just gonna let it work. And they're able to restrain Kirigiri, and they're hoping that Izuku does his job and all that stuff. But Bakugo, he's had enough of this, so he goes down, and Kirishima does, and Todoroki does. But everyone else goes to safety, and Shigaraku's like, who's this kid? What the? And he's starting to freak out and all that stuff. And he starts to freak out so much, he just sends Nomu straight at him. He's like, Nomu, kill him! And the Nomu just comes, and he smacks Izuku away. And Izuku just kind of recovers quickly. And Shigaraku's like, what the? This kid. What the? No one's able to withstand Nomu like that. Nomu, kill him! And the Nomu comes barreling at Izuku, and Izuku's like, crap, and he just shouts, Bakugo, make sure to take out the small villains. I'll deal with this. And Bakugo's like, don't tell me what to do, Izuku. Izuku's like, just do it. And they're like, crap. And all those four? No, not four. Yes, no, those three. Todoroki, Bakugo, and Kirishima proceed to take on the small villains, while Izuku's taking on the Nomu. So Izuku sees the Nomu barreling at him, so Izuku decides that he's gonna react to the Nomu. And the Nomu throws a punch, and Izuku grabs it, and he freaking flips the Nomu ground, and he slams it into the ground. And just by doing that, some of its back is just breaking off, and Shigaraku's like, no. And Izuku lifts up the Nomu, and he's like, alright then. And just like All Might said, in his prime, he only would have taken 6 punches. So that's what Izuku exactly does. Izuku throws up into the air, and he's like, ah! And he throws 6 mighty punches and completely obliterates the Nomu. And Shigaraku's like, and he's freaking out. He's like, wait, but and Kirigu's like, Shigaraki! And he just was able to escape his restraints, and he just took Shigaraki all out of there, leaving the villains out there. And they're like, no, wait for us! But Bak's like, you're not going anywhere, and doing all that stuff. And yeah, then all the heroes eventually came, and yeah, they were able to take all the villains, and All Might was not necessarily needed, and his time limit stays the same. Yay, All Might gets to stay the same. Whipping! So yeah, I'm gonna skip forward, and Aizawa announces that the sports festival is gonna happen finally, and Izuku already knows he's gonna win this. And yeah, so it's finally time for the sports festival, and Todoroki challenges Izuku that he's gonna win, and no matter if somehow you have the strength of All Might or whatever, he's gonna beat you. And Izuku just accepts the challenge, and he's like, don't mind no competition. And that's when Bakugo comes in saying that, no, I'm gonna win, like whatever, I don't know, he does his voice saying I'm gonna win this. So everyone comes out and all that stuff, and They come out and Midnight tells him that Bakugo's going to do a speech, and he does all of that stuff the same. And they do the race. And there's no debate about this. Izuku just won this. He let everyone ahead of him, and he meditated to turn on Sage Mode, blitz all of them, first place. And the cavalry battle, Izuku didn't really care who he had. He just needed some people. And he was at the bottom, and he just protected everyone just by freaking smashing the ground itself and just dominating, bro. So yeah, finally for the finals, and Izuku's matched up with Shinso. And Izuku decides, maybe I'll give him a fair fight. And he decides not to use Sage Mode. But before the fight, he gets a warning from Ojuru that this guy is kind of sketchy, so make sure not to say anything. Izuku goes into the ring with Shinso, and Shinso tries to rile up Izuku, but Izuku kind of just laughs, and he goes straight up to Shinso, and he's like signaling a fight, but Shinso's like, fine, and he throws a punch, and Izuku, with his fighting experience he's had over the past 10 months of being a vigilante and actually going against real villains, Shinso does not scare him at all. And Izuku's just dodging Shinso, thinking it's funny, and he finally finishes off by punching him in the gun and kicking him out the ring. And everyone starts cheering and all that stuff. All the brothers go the same. Finally, it's time for the fight with Todoroki. And Izuku knows that this is a detrimental fight, and he notices that Todoroki never uses fire side, and he's kind of wants to change that, because his quirk kind of seems awesome, and him not to use it, waste of potential. And Izuku's seen actually what villains do, and it kind of pisses him off, thinking that he can just be a hero, not using his full amount of capabilities. So Izuku goes out to the field, and he decides that he's gonna show Todoroki the cold truth of all this. So Izuku turns on Sage Mode straight away, and Todoroki tries to do the ice thing, but Izuku counter punches it and destroys all of it, and Todoroki's like, wait, what? And Izuku blitzes him before he could do anything, and grabs his collar and he slams him into the ground. And already Todoroki's dazed from that, and Izuku's shouting at Todoroki. He's like, you think you can only win this by using your ice? Are you an idiot? People will die if you only done this. If you want to be a hero, you stop being so selfish. You see those fake heroes? Stop being like them. This is not what heroes are supposed to be. Stop being a hero for selfish reasons. A hero is supposed to do stuff to help people, to be selfless. So stop having this stupid thing that because your dad has this quirk, that it's his and you're not going to use it. Keep that same energy when 1,000 people are dying because you don't want to use your full capabilities. And Todoroki just hears all of this, and everyone's just quiet, and Todoroki's like, what do you know? And it's like, you don't know? It's your quirk, god damn it, and all that stuff. And he's like, I don't give a crap if you had a bad experience. If you want to be a hero, you have to be selfless. You actually meant to help people, not be those fake heroes that only does it for the money and all that stuff. He's like, you had UA. Use the resources that you have. I've been out there. I know what it's like. I know how all of this can happen. He's like, how would you possibly know, huh? You're just in the same boat as me. Just because you have tremendous strength. He's like, the reason why I know, I've been keeping this in for a while. The reason why I know, because I'm Sage. And Todoroki's like, wait, what? And everyone's like, wait, what? He's like, I'm Sage. I've been doing this. I'm a vigilante because I felt like the hero society was messed up. Because no one was doing anything. People were only heroes because of the money. Because they're trying to get some fame, but that's not what a hero's supposed to be. A hero's supposed to be someone who saves people because because they need help. Not because you're going to get a paycheck or you're going to have to explain this later to the press and you get publicity. No, that's not what it is. Society has lost the meaning of a true hero. Someone that's selfless. I mean, look at All Might. So everyone, you should aspire to be like him. Not a hero. Not a fake hero. Alright? That's a message from Sage. Believe it or not, I am him. And I have done more work than most pro heroes have here. And all that stuff. And Izuku freaking doesn't even care and just walks off the stage, letting Todoroki win. And everyone's just flabbergasted that Sage revealed himself to be a freaking 15-year-old kid that was tired of society. Well, not society. Of that wanted the true essence of a hero to come back. Is that the right wording? Wanted. Yo, guys, yeah, whatever. He wanted the essence of a real hero to come back and all that stuff. So everyone's surprised and shocked and all that stuff. And President Mike's like, well, quite the reveal. And Izuku Midoriya said that he's Sage. Did you know about this, Izawa? He's like, no, this is crazy. And President Mike's like, whoa, even Izawa has a reaction? Dang, this is real serious. And all that stuff. But President Mike tells him to continue and then Todoroki has won and all that stuff. And everyone's shocked in the crowd, even in Class 1A and Class 1B. Everyone's shocked that Izuku Midoriya is freaking Sage and all that stuff. And Bakugo is like, it makes sense, but how did he get this power and all that stuff? So after the sports festival happens, everyone just starts swarming Izuku, asking him a bunch of questions like, what? And Izuku's like, I've said what I said, and I am who I am, but I won't let this stop me from becoming a hero. I do want to change society. I do want to help everyone. So that's my statement. And it was like, and swarming and everything. So Izuku goes back to school and everyone's just flabbergasted and they all ask questions to Izuku again. It's like, you're Sage? Like, oh my gosh. Like, everyone's saying that you're supposed to be a hero by now. It's like, what are you doing at UA? Yeah, and all that stuff. And Izuku just kind of laughs it off and he's like, you guys, it's not that special. I just felt like I needed to do something. So I went out there to do it. And I guess it turned into all of this. I didn't really want it to become like this, but what you gonna do? And everyone's just like, wow, Izuku's actually pretty cool and all that stuff. And everyone's inspired by Izuku, his words and his actions, that even though he wasn't a pro hero, he still wanted to do something and he did his best to do it. So yeah. So Izuku gets the most applications? No. The most invitations out of everyone. And everyone's not surprised because they did announce that he's Sage. Like, and everyone thinks that he should be the second hero and he's only in high school. Like, what the heck? Of course I want this kid in my agency. Get him here right now. He's going to make us a lot of money. That's what people are only thinking. Even though he had that speech yet again. So Izuku's deciding who he wants to go with until All Might offers him something with his former teacher. And Izuku's like, yeah, I'll take that. And yeah, he goes to Gran Torino. So he arrives there and he sees that the old man's dead and all that stuff. And Gran Torino tells him that he wanted to know how you got this strong and what the heck? And Izuku straight away tells him, no, I don't have one for all. And he's like, wait, how did you know about one for all? Did Toshinori tell you? He's like, no. I found out for myself. He's like, wait, but Toshinori didn't tell me that you knew. He's like, oh, he still doesn't know that I know. He's like, wait, what the? It's like, yeah, I have my ways of knowing, but yeah, I just don't need to ask questions. All I want to say is that who did he pass it on to? He's like, you have to have Toshinori himself. I'm not sure, but all I know is that it's from someone in UA. And he's like, huh, alright. And he's still flabbergasted that he knows about freaking One for All. So at that point, he decides, he's like, there's not much for me to teach. Let's just meditate. I just honestly wanted to meet you. And Izuku's like, understandably. And yeah, that's what they do. And they start to patrol and as usual, and Nomi attacks. And Izuku realizes that Ida's here. So Izuku turns on Sage mode and he's like, I don't really use this ability, but and he uses his sensory abilities. He's like, and he's looking around and he locates Ida, and he's like, there's another someone. There's a person there. He's like, I can feel his intentions. He's hostile. That's Stain, and Izuku just goes bursting out of there, and he arrives there. Not just in time, early, and Stain's still in his monologue, and Izuku freaking comes burling and he freaking punches Stain, and Stain's completely knocked out, and Izuku's like, that'll do it, and freaking Ida's like, Izuku, what the hell are you doing there? He's like, what am I doing? What the hell are you doing? And he has a lecture on Ida that what he was planning was idiotic and stupid and selfish. And Izuku tells him that this is not what a hero's supposed to be. And Ida gets this, and he realizes what he's done is completely idiotic. Like, completely. And Izuku's like, alright, let's get out of here. And that's when Stain starts getting up. He's like, no, I can't let you escape. And Izuku's like, what the hell? I just knocked this guy out. And Izuku kind of admires this guy. And he's like, huh. And he goes up to Stain. And Ida's like, be careful. Izuku's like, I understand. He's like, why are you doing this, Stain? He's like, Sage, you are a true hero, but I won't let you stop me. I will change the society. And Zuko's like, yeah, I get you what you're saying, man. I want to do the same thing, but this is not the way to go, man. You gotta, if you want to change something, you gotta lead by example. And he's like, no, it won't work. He's like, have you tried? He's like, no, but exactly. You haven't tried, but you already jumped to conclusions. See, I had the same ideals as you, Stain. I want to change this world. I want the true definition of pro heroes to come back again. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm thinking of villains. That's why I'm going through the actual process. So I can become the #1 hero to actually stop the villains and stop this wretched system right now. And Stain hears this and he's like, I do admire your work, and I respect you as much as All Might. So if you do say this, I'll respect your word, Sage, but make sure to complete the work, alright? And Zuko's like, you got it, but I still gotta take you on with the cops. And Stain's like, I'll accept it, just make sure you keep your word, Sage. And Zuko's like, you got Stain. So anyway, Stain has Sage's respect and all that stuff, and he still does his speech just because I want other people to be inspired and ish like that. So Zuko comes back to school and pretty everything is the same and all that stuff, and time to find for the final exam, and Izuku aces that easy, and it's time for the final exam, and he gets paired up with Bakugo, and Bakugo's not really thrilled with it, but Izuku's okay with it until they meet their opponent, and Izuku accepts the challenge, and Bakugo does too. So the final exams finally starts. and All Might throws a punch, and Izuku counters it, and all that stuff, and Izuku tells Bakugo, "You be my support," and he's like, "What?" He's like, "I got this." And he turns on Sage mode, and he goes and dash into All Might, and All Might's like, gets it to head-on fight. So basically, Izuku and All Might just go head-to-head, just throwing it down. And this fight is the most intense fight. And well, Izuku's throwing punches, and he jumps back. He's like, "No, Bakugo!" Bakugo's like, "Don't tell me what to do!" And he releases one of his gauntlets, and he's like, "Ah!" Hits Bakugo, hits All Might. Then he releases another one at All Might, and he uses both of his gauntlets to hit All Might, and All Might's dazed and all that stuff. And Izuku comes, he's like, "Ah!" And he throws a punch at All Might, and All Might gets hit into a wall. And Izuku grabs Bakugo and he's like, "Let's go." And they exit, and Bakugo's like, "Hey, let go of me." He's like, "Do you want to pass or not?" And he's like, "Oh, fine." And he deals with it. So yeah, Izuku and Bakugo pass the exam, defeating All Might, and everyone's just reassured how strong Izuku is. Yo, bro, my voice is just dry. I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through it. Pause. I'm gonna say pause. So finally, time for the summer camp. Oh yeah, the encounter in the mall does not happen because Shigaraki at this point is actually scared of Izuku, and he knows if he goes there, he's gonna get caught instantly. So he goes to the summer camp. At the summer camp, and he arrives and all that stuff, and the Pussycat dolls are there, and they instantly see Izuku, and they big fans of Izuku, and they kind of love Izuku, and they start hugging him, all the stuff. They're like, "Thank you," and one of them's like, "Oh, you're Sage. I can't believe it." And everyone's just like, "Oh, great." Izuku's a celebrity now? What the? They're like, he's practically a pro hero already. And like, yeah. And they start praising Izuku and all that stuff. And they interrupt themselves and like, they realize what they're doing. And they announce what they're gonna be doing. And they make the kids fall down again and accept Izuku, and they're like, "Izuku, you can come with us." And I was like, "Well, I wanted him to also get." They're like, they're like, "All right." They really like Izuku since he stands what a hero should be, and he did save Koda's parents there, and yeah. And one of them is just staring at them. I forgot what's her name, but she's just staring at Izuku, just kind of grateful of him, and Izuku's just kind of laughing. He's like, feeling uncomfortable. So they finally arrive, and they waiting there, and all the other guys come out, and Izuku's like, "Ooh, sorry about that, guys." And they're all pissed at Izuku that he got the special treatment. And that's when Koda's there, and this time he does not have a sour attitude. He just kind of sees Izuku instantly, and he goes straight to him. He's like, "Sage!" And Izuku's like, "Oh, yeah, hey." And Koda just jumps into Izuku's eye, and he starts crying, and the other Pussycat door just hugs Izuku too, and they start crying too. And they're like, Izuku's like, "I'm sorry. I know this is wholesome, but I don't even know what's going on." They're like, "Well, let me explain." And they explain that day where Izuku defeated Muscular, saved those two pro heroes, that was Koda's parents, and they were so grateful. And when he got him, and he rushed him to the hospital, and yeah, since they were rushed to the hospital so fast, they were able to survive all that bleeding and bruising. So they were always supporters of Sage. And when they announced that it was Izuku Midoriya, and they heard he was coming here to the summer camp, they couldn't be any excited. And Izuku realizes that finally his actions are just impacting people. well, not impacting people. He's glad that his actions impacted someone, and he's like, "You're welcome." You see, this is the true essence of a hero. And he started lecturing his own class. Everyone's like, does he know he's not a teacher? And then Paco's like, we don't need an lecture from you, Deku. And this was like, oh, I was monologuing. Sorry. 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 And all that stuff. So yeah, they're going through the training camp, and yeah, they're going through the training camp, and they say there are ways to improve their quirks. And Izuku recalls, he's like, oh yeah, didn't all the toads say I can improve my quirk even more? And he's like, you guys, I'll be right back. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And Izuku goes to Mount Boku, and he asks the elder sage, the elder toad, he's like, how do I... You said I can improve Sage Mode even more? What do you mean by that? He's like, oh yes. Yeah, but don't worry about that. It's more minor enhancements. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, how can I say this? It's that your Sage Mode kind of works similar to that quirk, one for all. He's like, oh yeah, you mentioned that? The All Might quirk? It's like, yes, so basically, as you progressively get older, it will become stronger, so... Yeah, you don't need to worry about that right now. He says, like, oh, alright then, yeah, thanks. Elder Sage? And he's like, yeah, no problem. I mean, Elder Toad? He's like, yeah, no problem. So he goes back area, and Izuku kind of just chills because he doesn't need improvement right now. So yeah, finally all that stuff happens, and the villains attack. And at this point, Izuku's with everyone, and he thinks, where is Kota? And she's like, yes, can you find Kota? And Kota's like, right. And he turns on Sage Mode, and he locates Kota, and he's like, him again? And Izuku rushes straight to the location, and he's like, what are you doing here? And Muscular's like, to get my revenge. Damn it. You may have defeated me last time in one punch, Sage, but not this time. And this time, he grows even bigger, and he's like, this time I have this. And Izuku's like, oh, what the heck is that? And he's like, quirk enhancement drug. And Izuku, wait, what? And Muscular actually takes the drug, and this time it grows even bigger than last time and stronger. He's like, this time I won't let you beat me. And Izuku's like, crap, this guy's actually pretty strong. And he sees that. He's like, alright then. And he kind of cracks his fingers, seeing that it's actually going to be a challenge. And he summons Gamikichi, and Gamikichi's actually grown a little. It's like, Gamikichi, you've grown! He's like, yeah, I mean, I'm getting strong. I told you I'll become as big as my dad. And Muscular's just there, and he's like, oh, can you take Kota out of here? He's like, yeah, sure. He's like, make sure to find Mr. Izawa, and also help out people as much as you can, alright? He's like, yeah. And Izuku looks at Muscular, and he's like, you wanted to throw down? Alright then, man. Let's fight. Been waiting to get my hands dirty. And he's like, huh? And Izuku blitzes at Muscular, and he throws his punch, and Muscular is able to withstand it at him. And Izuku and Muscular smiles, and Izuku smiles, and they just go at it, and they're throwing punches, and Izuku is throwing down Muscular slowly, and this is going on for a full 4 minutes, and Izuku realizes that his timer's almost up, and he's like, alright then, time to stop fooling around. And Muscular's like, what? And Izuku jumps into the air, he's like, Sage Arts! And Izuku floats, Sage will change a little, he's like, wait, what? And it's just giving off this aura to Muscular, and he just sees multiple Izukus, and he's like, wait, what? And he just starts hearing frog, well, not toad, what? Frog croaks, like in his ears, kind of like nullifying him. And Izuku's like, oh, is this the enhancement? And he's like, smash! And he finishes him off, completely knocking out Muscular. So Zuko's sage mode goes out and he's like, crap. And he's like, I need more of it. And he's like, no time. So he just starts running down and he finally catches up to Gamapunta. And Gamapunta says, no, not Gamapunta, Gamankichi. And he says that he was able to successfully save Kota and give him to Mr. Zawa. And he's helping out, trying to get people safe. But he's heard that that day after Bakugo and they need to save him. And they're like, right. So they run over to save Bakugo, and they finally see him there, and they save Bakugo, and they save Tokiyami, and they're going off in a group, and the same thing happens in the anime. He gets kidnapped and all that stuff, but this time Izuku's timer's out, so this is basically this is where this is English? Yeah. Oh wait, I just realized I said that it was 5 minutes. It's 7 minutes. Yeah, the fight went on for 6 and his timer went out for 7. My bad, you guys. My bad. Autocorrect. So yeah, and this time Bakugo gets kidnapped again because Suzuku's he's on timeout basically. He wasn't able to unlock it back to back. That's what I'm trying to say. He has a little bit of a time limit. So yeah. Izuku's frustrated that he was able to do anything, and they're in the hospital planning to get Bakugo back. So they come up with the same plan and they go out to save Bakugo. And yeah, they do the same thing and with the operation and all that stuff, and the pro heroes come out it and all that stuff. And while Suzuku and everyone's there, and All For One comes over out, everyone else is scared. While Izuku is like, I know that voice. He's like, I've been pursuing this guy for that 10 months. And he's like, he's, and that's when All Might comes. He's like, shh, All For One. And Izuku's like, All For One. And all that stuff. And he tells everyone that they need a plan, and they basically do the same plan as in the anime. While Izuku's using Sage Mode, they do that, and Bakugo comes, and Izuku looks at it, and he jumps down too, and it was like, Izuku! He's like, go. I need to save All Might. They're like, save All Might? And All Might's fighting All For One, and Izuku comes in when they kick, and he kicks all For One away, and he tells All Might, you can't fight him. He's like, why? I need to do. He's like, no, don't you understand that your time limit isn't? He's like, no, I have to risk everything. That's the point of it. He's like, no, All Might, I can't allow this. I can't allow the symbol of peace to be defeated, because if you go away, the villains will come spreeing in again. Remember? Just by your presence alone, that villains will feared you. I can't let that all go. I can't let the society go into chaos. So leave this to me. And All Might's like, crap, the kid's right. My time limit's on myself. And Izuku's like, this is probably gonna take more than 7 minutes. And he summons the Elder Toad and his wife again, and he's like, it's time. And Fukuzaki doesn't question anything, because he's never summoned them to use unlimited stage mode before, so he knows it's a dire situation. So they fuse to Izuku's shoulders, and Izuku's like, alright. And they turn on sage mode, and they're kind of curious. They're like, what the? And all for it comes out, he's like, so you're that sage guy. I've been meaning to kill you for what you've done to Shigaraki. He's now petrified. And All For One actually loses his composure somehow. And Izuku actually fights All For One, and it's an intense battle, kind of like when All Might fought him in his prime. And Izuku realizes this is a hard battle, and Izuku summons if you guys watch Naruto, Izuku summons those 3 toads like Naruto did, like Gamabunta and those other 3 guys, as also support and help evacuate and all that stuff, and and all that stuff. So yeah, the other 2 help evacuate all the people, while Chief Toad helps Izuku fight All For One, and All For One's like, you're annoying, and he freaking sends a pressure. Well, he freaking stabs Gamabunta in the gut, and he's like, oh, and Gamabunta's bleeding out, and Izuku's like, Gamabunta, and he rushes over. He's like, Chief Toad, are you okay? He's like, I'm gonna be. And he kind of passes out, and Izuku's seeing this. He's enraged. Also, all the Toad, they're like, damn it! And Izuku's like, and he's kind of having a Super Saiyan moment right now, and his Sage mode's kind of flickering, and let's just say he gets a temporary boost up, and All For One's like, now you want to get angry, and Zuko's like, you shouldn't have done that, and Zuko just kind of has this burst of energy somehow in Sage mode, and he dashes to All For One, and he's like, time to win this. And he's like, United States are smack! And he uses All Might's move to honor All Might, and he defeats All For One. And Izuku stands there with the 2 frogs on his shoulder, and he just kind of looks at the camera and he smiles. And everyone's like, yeah, Sage, 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 and all that stuff, shouting Izuku's hero name. And yeah, so basically the reason why Izuku done that is because he wants to keep All Might the symbol of peace, but what he realizes that he's become the symbol of peace, and that's what All Might, he kind of smiles about, and he comes over to Izuku's like, you see, maybe they don't need me anymore. Izuku, he's like, of course they do. You're the symbol of peace, All Might. He's like, you see, what you don't know, Izuku, is that you're the symbol of peace now. And Izuku's like, wait, what? And he's like, yes, you're the symbol of peace. And Izuku smiles, and he realizes when he hears everyone just shouting his hero name, Sage, 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 and All Might lifts up Izuku's arm, and he's like, Sage, your new symbol of peace. And it kind of like inaugurates him in a sense. So yeah, Izuku goes back, and everyone congratulates him, and Izawa doesn't really get mad because, like, freaking, he's technically somehow the symbol of peace. But Izuku's still in UA, because why not? So yeah, all that stuff happens, and Izuku has his provisional license exam, and now, and he passes, and everyone's like, yeah, and Izuku, he's like, alright, it's been fun, you guys. And like, wait, what are you talking about? And he's like, since I got my provisional license exam, there's no need for me to be in UA anymore. It's basically useless. And they're like, no, but he's like, yeah, but think about it. Everyone's saying I'm the symbol of peace now, and they say I'm all qualified for the number one hero spot. There's no point. They're like, oh, come on, Izuku, just we get it. And it looks like, but I'll stay a little longer. Besides, I was said there was some people that wanted to meet me, so until then, that's when I'm leaving UA. And they're like, fair enough. So yeah, the people that wanted to meet Izuku was the big 3, which is Miro and all that stuff, and yeah, Miro chances the whole class to a fight, and Izuku stands aside, and Miro's like, oh, Izuku's like, fight them first, and he's like, fine, and he takes us as a task, and he defeats them easily, and Izuku's kind of curious about Miro, and he looks at Miro, and he's like, and he goes up to Miro, and he whispers in the ear, so All Might chose you, and Miro's like, wait, how did you, the perks of being the number one hero, the new symbol of peace. And he's like, oh, so you think that? Alright then, I'll chance you a fight, Izuku. Izuku's like, is that so? He's like, yeah. I'll use my full power. And Miro goes to his maximum potential of one for all. And Izuku kind of smiles. He's like, alright then, Miro, let's fight. And Izuku turns on Sage mode and they start fighting. Izuku finds his permeation as a repulsive thing, and Izuku realizes that he needs to finish this quick. So Izuku kind of out tricks Miro, and Miro's like, wait, what? Izuku uses something I call after images. And yeah, that's how he defeats Miro. Just plot. And yeah, I'm almost done. Thank God. And yeah, everyone's surprised, and everyone's not surprised that he defeated Miro. I mean, he's freaking. He's the nominee for the next #1 hero at this point. Oh, sorry, I need a drink. So yeah, Izuku finally leaves Yu Wei, and he's trying to see which hero agency he should go to, and he decides, yeah, fudge it, and he goes to Nada's agency. So convenient for him, Miro was there and said, "Hey, Izuku!" And they start talking, and that's when he goes to meet with Nada, and Nada is like, "You're Izuku Midoriya," and Izuku's like, "Yes, and Nada is like, "No need, I already know who you are," and he's a fan of him because he knows what he done for All Might and what he's done, and he's very grateful for that, and he's happy to take in Izuku. So yeah, Izuku and Miro on a patrol, and they have to encounter Overhaul and then let him go, as usual. And they find out they were wrong. And yeah, they have the Overhaul arc. They go in. This time, Miro doesn't go ahead. Izuku just comes with him, just smashing through the walls. And they finally meet up with what's his name? Overhaul, and they have that big battle, and basically at the end, Izuku and Miro team up, and they both they both beat up Shigaraki, finishing up with a double Detroit smash, reclaiming Eri. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. If you guys enjoyed, oh, it's so long, I'm so hungry. Alright, bye bye.